Hello and welcome back for another VMK in the C++ series. In this VMK I'm going to shake things up a little bit by introducing you guys to a few third-party tools that I use inside of Visual Studio that you may also find helpful when programming in C++. Now if you're using Visual Studio or Visual C++, you need to have the Professional Edition because I don't think the free Express editions support having third-party plugins. So just as a warning up front, you will know if you can add extra tools into Visual Studio by having a Tools menu option located here at the top. And under there, you'll see that there's a Extension Manager where you can go and navigate through all the third-party extensions that are available through the online gallery. So if you click on Online Gallery here, it'll open up a website for you where you can do a search for all the different kinds of tools which are available for download. So if you're looking for anything specific, you could do a search here, type it in, and it'll bring out some results, or you can browse by different kinds of categories as well. Now, what you see here inside of this dialog box, you can also get to directly through a web browser. In your browser, if you navigate to visualstudiogallery.msdn.microsoft.com, you should get this website here. And this is the same website that is used to show you the results inside of Visual Studio. So once again, you can do a search up here, or on the website, you can actually browse by different categories. So on the left here, you have tools, controls, or templates, and then depending on which Visual Studio edition you're using, you would click on one of these, and then you have the option of looking at free, trial, or paid tools to download. Now the ones that I'm currently using are already installed here, so let me just go through them one by one to show you what it is that they do and how they help me in coding. The first one is called Align Assignments. So if you're to do a search here for Align Assignments, it should come up here. There it is there. It's written by Noel Richards. And basically what it does is it allows you to use the keyboard shortcut Control-Alt closing bracket to align your equal signs vertically inside of your source code. So let me demonstrate how this works. I'm going to close this off and open up a project here. So if I were to declare some variables like int I is equal to 10, and then I have float f is equal to 3.14, and maybe I have a string. Normally what I would typically do is I'd go back into here and tab across to find the location where all of these equal signs line up like this. Actually, let me change this to be STRT, just some other letter. So notice now if I tab across, that doesn't quite line up. I'd have to either put a space there or I'd have to tab this across like that. It's a lot of manual work. Let me undo all of that and I can show you how this extra add-in works. So all I do is I have all my variables declared here. You put your cursor anywhere in the middle of this block of code that have all the equal signs, and if you hold down Control Alt and press the bracket, notice that automatically they all line up one above the other. So it's a great shortcut because I like my assignments to be all lined up vertically like this, so with a quick keystroke I'm able to get all those lined up. The next tool that I use is also created by that same author here, and if you click on him you'll see that you can get a listing of all the different tools that this one author has created. So the other one that I've used are the spell checker and GoToDefinition. GoToDefinition is very handy. It allows you to hold down the control key and press on a definition of a function and it will actually take you to where that code is. So let me demonstrate. So here I have the Network Manager project opened up, and let's just scroll through here and say that I want to jump to a specific location. So for instance, if I'm in main and I would like to know where is setup client, typically you would have to right click and click on Go to Definition, which would bring up this dialog and then you can choose, or you can press the shortcut F12. But with the handy plugin installed, you can press the control key and notice that as soon as I hover over top of one of these functions now, it highlights with an underline. Now when I click on one of those, it automatically opens up that dialog so that I can make the choice. Or if I click on a variable name, it will actually take me directly to where it's been declared. So it is a very handy shortcut because it allows you to navigate your code very quickly without losing context of where you are. So that helps a lot in terms of navigating the code. The other extension that I have installed is the spell checker. And what it does is it basically underlines any characters inside of your text that are not recognized by the spell checker. So back inside of this temporary project here, if I were to type in some text, notice that it looks perfectly normal. However, if I misspell something, then it'll automatically underline it for me to let me know that that word is misspelled. And this also works for strings that you have inside of your code. So if I have a char notice that looks correct. However, if I misspell something, then the string text here gets underlined as well. You'll notice that as you hover over these, there's a little tooltip that appears, and you can open that up and it'll give you suggestions on what was the word that it thinks you're trying to spell. So here I can change that to some. Here it gives me some extra suggestions on what I could have possibly been trying to type. If you know it's a word that you spelled correctly, but it's not recognized by the dictionary, then you can also have the option of clicking in here and selecting Add to Dictionary. What that'll do is it will start its own dictionary file on your computer, so anytime it encounters that exact same spelling of the word, it won't highlight it for you because it knows that it's been added to the dictionary. So I find this very helpful because I'm a very poor speller, so this helps me out a lot in terms of being able to pick out what words I've misspelt in my code. The next extension that I use is found here. It's called dpack. There are a lot of features that are built into this tool. If you click on features here, you can see all the different things that this tool does. Not only does it work in C++, but it also works in other programming languages. So if you want a full description of everything that this guy does, have a read through their website. Which under the tools menu, you'll notice that it installs a dpack flyout. So in here you've got a code browser section where it has a bunch of tools there. It has a file browser section, a bunch of tools there. Solution statistics are kind of handy. You can click on this and it'll break down your statistics based on projects that you have inside of your solution. So here you can see that this is a C++ project. There are 4 files within this one, and the temp one has 10 files inside of it. Tells you how many lines of code are in each of those projects, the total lines, the comments, how many are empty lines, and then finally the ratio of how many code lines versus how many comment lines. You can export this out to a Excel file if you wanted to have statistics as you are progressing through larger projects. So that's handy if you wanted to know those kinds of statistics. Other things that I use are the solution backup tool. So here what you can do is you can click on this and it'll ask you, are you sure you want to back up your current solution? When you click yes, it'll actually take all the files here that comprise of your solution and zip them up into one single file, which you can then store on your hard drive. This is a quick and fast way to back up all your files for a project that you're working on. The other interesting bits and pieces here inside of the dpack tool are bookmarks. When you install the tool, your bookmarks will become numbered. So if you're to go to edit, you'll notice that there's a bookmarks flyout, and then there's the standard one here called bookmarks. So these ones here are installed when you get dpack installed. And with the bookmarks, you'll notice that you have numbered bookmarks, which you can assign shortcuts to if you want. So you can use these to navigate through labeled sections within your bookmarks. You can go to specific bookmarks, toggle global bookmarks, and all that. You get all these extra bookmark features. Code navigation, this is handy. You can jump around in your source code by using these shortcut keys. And the other kind of handy feature is the surrounds with. So if you have some code, like let's say I have this code here and I wanted to surround it with something, I could just go to surrounds with and select on one of these. So for instance 4, and automatically it writes the code for you and surrounds it as well. So you don't have to be retyping typical code that you know you're going to be using. You can also do that multiple times, surround that all with an if statement, for instance. So as you can see, it can quickly format your source code, allows you to navigate quickly through your source code, and gives you some extra capabilities within Visual Studio. The last tool I want to introduce to you guys is this Add New C++ class. This is actually a tool that I wrote and is available for download through the website. If you're to go to the forum section and scroll down to the game software and tools, and under the free tools section, you'll see that there is the Add New C++ class Visual Studio add-in. So click on that. You can have a read through here on what it does and how to get it installed. What you want to do is select which project you want to insert your new class to. So for instance, if I'm working in the other project, select one of the files in there, or you can choose the project itself. Then you'd click on Tools, Add New C++ Class, and it brings up this dialog asking you what is the name of the class that you want to add. So here I would want to add, let's say, the class called Matic, and when I click on Create Class, what that does is it automatically creates the header file and the source file named Matic, and within it, it gives me the default constructor and destructor, and inside of the header file you'll see the standard structure that I use when I'm programming new classes. Now you can go in and customize the template that it uses to generate this source code here, and that's all explained inside of the forum. If you're interested in learning more about add-in tools or how to write your own, post some messages on the forum and I can create some video tutorials for you guys to see how it is you can create your own tools that will show up inside of the tool menu, or how to create your own extensions so that you can post them on the Visual Studio site so that you can contribute to other members who might want to extend their Visual Studio.